Hello, everybody. Lex the Grey here. Welcome back to session 3 for the Shadows of Darkain. So, we had quite an exciting episode, or I should say, session. There's an old habit I'm trying to get rid of, referring to these as episodes, chapters. Essentially, as long as the number's right, I'm happy. So, like I said, we had a rather active session, fending off some creatures here in the main market, then finding our way to the harbor, meeting Captain Waverly. So I switched over back to one-page Mythic for this episode, and then my character list is actually on this note card. So this will be my little cheat sheet for characters. And we still have the maps here. We have our 4 characters ready to go. We have Ellis, Red, Clovis, and Jewel. So at the moment, we are dealing with the post battle. Some of our characters are a tad hurt, not in terrible condition, but before we make our way to the castle, which we'll figure out a name for that in a second, our goal for this session, our start for the session is go meet with the city guard at the castle. That's our very vague uh, beginning idea. To expand on that, find Captain Waverly, talk to Lord Balthazar, find out what caused the demon spawns. Find out cause of the demon spawns. So that's our new quest that we've bestowed upon ourselves because we see it as a need. For this is our hometown of Riverport, the city of Riverport, to help the newly elected Balthazar, which I have uh, generalized that our characters are very big fans of Balthazar. And we'll expand on that because I want this episode to be more on the setting than just fighting some creatures, which was fun. But I want to build the lore of Riverport and the capital. So let's go ahead and make our way to the center square and see if we can find some healing methods, because we do have some medications. So I think, who has our meds? um, okay, so Clovis has our medication. He's going to pass. He's going to take one for himself. So that's down to 1 now. I'm going to restore him back to 5, or we can do a D4. Okay, so yep, just a 1. He heals up 1. He's going to give one also to Red. Is the highest, has the most pain, so he's going to give his other medicine to Red. Red is going to heal because he has 5 out of 9, and Red is our he's definitely a valuable member of the team. So 3, 6, 7, 8. So everybody, for the most part, is in better condition. Everyone is 1 away from their max. That's doable. Okay, so we make our way. The team makes their way from the harbor back to the capital. I'm sorry, to the main market. We're walking through the cobblestone path here, and we're now in the market. There's a garden. It's called a clear garden at the entrance of the castle. So we are in the center market. This market will have multiple names, but I think we can come up with a main name for this market. I can write in right here because there is no name that I use the generator for. So let's call it. We'll just call it the center market. I think that's fine. So that's our current location. I like the note here on the side. So center market. I'm going to try to write it really well because I'm using pen and I do not want to reprint this. Center market. That works. I like that. Okay, so center market. And while the team is here, let's figure out what happens. So, upon entering the market, the chances of something happening, whether it's positive or negative, we're going to roll. So let's say that something happened. I'm going to say, because it's post-battle, there's a recovery now happening. The monsters have been vanquished, at least from what we found based on screams. I'm going to say very likely something probably happens. 45. That's a mid-range yes. So that's a basic yes. Let's figure out what this happening is. I cannot roll a 0 actually. A 0 does not qualify as 100. I'm gonna re-roll. I was never really. I'm gonna re-roll that one. 37. Emotions. That does make sense. And 24. Disagreeable. Okay, so there are dozens of merchants walking about the market at the moment, recovering, picking up their goods. There are city guards. Probably, let's say there's a bunch of them. There's 6 of them that are milling about, trying to help the citizens of Riverdale recover after this deadly attack that killed a handful of people based on the market itself. We're not too sure the damage has been done. We can talk to the captain or the guard, but we see that there's basically a disagreement going on. So this disagreement is, I think, with the guards, not necessarily the people. The people of Riverport are again recovering. They're picking up their stolen goods, their damaged goods. Merchants are walking around. There's injured. People are helping each other up. Not everybody's around. Some might be wandering back. People fled the city. Maybe they're in the outskirts, wondering what's happening. Guard is doing their best to round up people and recover in the process. But from what we can see, we see 6 guards, 6 city guards, apparently having a disagreement. I'm going to say an argument. And for some reason, the context of their argument, we can see their physical altercation happening, not verbally. I can roll I can roll to see if we can eavesdrop, perhaps. Maybe 2 of the guards, the same we met with before. We can find out, is the captain here? Maybe the captain. I think it's highly likely, actually. The captain probably made his way back, and he was helping out before reporting with the Lord. I'm going to say very likely the captain's in this little group. Yep, he is. And what is the captain's current meaning? 63. So, information, that makes sense. Pretty good rolls so far for this series. 95. Stylish. Oh, okay. Remember, the captain is a coward. Somehow he got this job. I think it may be related to the Lord, perhaps, or his family related. But he's trying to look all professional. He's walking around with his very fancy armor. And again, he's acting like he's handling things, and he's looking around. He's trying to gather information with the locals. And we see him. So we walk up to the Lord, the captain. Captain, this is an NPC here. Captain Waverly. He's waving his way through the groups while the others are arguing. We talk to the captain. We ask him what's going on. Is everybody okay? And does he know what the argument is about? Because he doesn't seem to be taking part in it. If he's walking around helping the city folk, which is also fine, does he know 50-50 what's going on with the argument with his guards? 9. Ooh, he does. That's a very strong yes. Exceptional. I think the argument has to do with the preparation the captain failed to have for the sudden attack. So the guards are arguing that the captain is incompetent because the sudden attack, everybody is a complete shit show. I'm going to put that in my notes here. Argument, um, guards, incompetent, captain. And he's, for some reason, he's a coward. He's keeping his distance away from the team. He's he's not taking part. He's not being a real leader. So I think he's not exactly qualified for this position as a captain. So we tell him, what should we say here? Because we don't want to ruin our reputation with him. And we don't necessarily want to get involved with the guard. Are those two guards from earlier part of this group of six? I'm going to say likely. So 90. No, this is okay. This is definitely not the same guards from before. It's a fresh uh, six guards. This is not the same before. Captain's literally the only person we're familiar with. So we can't just walk up and say, hey, the captain, blah, blah, blah. We can't lie for the captain. We can't really back the captain up. We can't really say the captain's a coward. We're kind of at an impasse here. So those six guards are causing some type of commotion or potential mutiny. But I think that might be a rising subplot later in this adventure. So I'm going to keep that one in mind, that there's an argument. So we tried to basically ignore this argument happening with the guards while they are... I'm getting some sense here that the city guard in general are not too organized. Maybe they're not so used to disasters happening such often. I think it's been peaceful times. I really think that... Let's roll to see, is Riverport, not necessarily Exeter, but has Riverport been in peaceful times the past couple decades? I'm going to say 50-50. I don't know. Yeah. So Riverport, this is a lore roll. Riverport, this is also from the knowledge of our characters because they've lived here for 20, 30 years. I'm assuming they're all young adults or in their 30s or so. Riverport has maintained peace for 20 plus years. There has been no such incident that we just experienced as a people in Riverport. Now, we have to figure out, we need to talk to the captain, so we continue talking to him. We basically approach him, asking him, we were hopeful to speak to the Lord Balthazar about what happened. Perhaps he knows, or he knows how we can help. So the captain is, again, he likes us. We're acquainted at this point. He trusts us despite his little issues he's having with his people. He agrees. I'm going to assume he agrees. Let's say it's nearly certain that he agrees to let us talk to the Lord, and that's a yes. And actually, that's a... hold on a second. I have... an 18 on nearly certain is... Okay, so that was a very, very close to a strong yes. It's a standard yes. And actually, because it's it's close to a strong yes, he is insisting that we go right now. So if it was a strong yes, like 1 to 17, it would have been narratively, oh yes, the Lord actually asked for you just now, or something like that. So we make our way with, let's take out this other die here. So we travel with the guard, with the captain. Captain takes team to the castle. Okay, so we're on our way through the clear garden. Now, as we approach the castle, there are guards lined up in front of the main castle walls because they are high alert, knowing that there has just been a bunch of creatures. So I'm thinking that the guard in general, the royal guard perhaps, is up to this point. It's potentially a faction, but the royal guard surround the castle. The standard city guard patrol the floors, patrol the grounds of the city. But the royal guard, the supposedly higher elites, cover the doors. And because he's the captain, that means he's in charge of the ground, of the guards, the city guard. Now, does he have authority to take in 4 strangers into the main castle? I'm going to say 50-50 on this one. If he's just the captain, there's obviously going to be like a commander or a leader of the guard, of the royal guard. There's probably a different faction of guard. So let's say 50-50. Okay, he does. That's fine. So the captain walks up to the front, and there are two royal guards, probably like in very very shiny metal armor, full chainmail. They have their spears crossed, blocking the entrance. He stops and looks at them both, and they lift him, and he walks through, turns around all fancy, moves his cape. He's like, "Follow me, my friends." And so we enter the castle. So we are now in the castle entrance. The royal guard is surrounds the castle itself. Sorry, I need to take a little more notes than I originally thought. But we are at the castle doors. It's this large, giant wooden, um, or I should say iron doors with huge handles on it. And there are two other posted royal guards. There's some patrolling the inner grounds of the castle. And the captain is Waverly is walking pretty casually through, and he knocks on the door. And moments later, the door slowly open inward into the castle, revealing a large, wondrous, pristine, rich, almost like a chapel, like a large European church, a cathedral. They enter, and there's just so now we're inside the castle. Now let's figure out a name of the castle. So location update. We are a castle interior. We're in the entryway. Let's think of a name for the castle. So there is one thing we can use, and I believe it's called Maze Rats. So let's move our dice over. What can we use to name our castle here? I don't think there's actually much as far as names go. I already can think of one. Okay, we're gonna call it Bellhound Castle. So location, this is a star. Bellhound Castle. There's a large bell. Perhaps it used to be a church. I'm gonna write this right here. Bellhound Castle. There we go. We're right there. So we can see there's a large ascending staircase with red carpet rolling down to our feet. Not rolling in the process, but like it's to our feet. And the king, or the perhaps there are very fancy royal nobles walking about in the royal hall. I'm gonna say this is the royal hall at the point. So it's a gathering of the most prestigious and wealthy of locals. They are talking about what happened. We can hear the murmurs of creatures attacking the innocents. Oh my, quite exhilarating, perhaps. They're all talking and to themselves. We're kind of casually scrolling because we're not used to these this environment, and because we are so out of place, we're still dressed in our original clothes. We weren't prepped for this. We weren't like given certain wares. The captain just took us right in. He walks up to the stairwell, and is there anybody at the stairwell at the bottom step? I'm gonna say likely there is. A 13. Oh, that is actually going to be a strong yes. It is the first of a strong yes. 14 is the standard yes. So at the steps of the royal staircase, just kind of having fun with that now. The royal staircase or stairway. There is someone standing at the staircase. Now, this person, I'm thinking, is the commanding officer of the Royal Guard. And I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to say it is the commanding officer of the Royal Guard. So, NPC, Commander something something Darkside. Let's think of a name. So let's draw. We're definitely using an upper class surname for this because this guy is going to be the boss of the bosses, the boss of the boss of the guard. So let me get my character section here opened up. There we go. So let's just choose one. I'm looking at upper class surnames. Dunlow, Gorgon, Commander Gorgon, Fisk, Commander Fisk, like Wilson Fisk. I like that. It's tough. Commander Fisk. Or was it Whisk? No, I'm sorry, it was Fisk. Whisk would not work out too well. So we're going to underline this. The Royal Hall, Bellhound. I keep forgetting to underline things that I'm adding to the story. Sorry, to the setting. Captain, let's see. Riverport, as I mentioned there. Yep, that works. Captain Waverly. Captain Fisk, he's standing at the bottom of the staircase. He's talking with one of his advisors. Just a random advisor, cloaked, perhaps a mage of sorts. And the captain walks up, bows. He looks to us, and we kind of bow too. Commander Fisk turns and looks to the captain. So how does he react to the captain? We don't know their exact chemistry, but let's roll a characteristic for the commander, because I want this guy to be a pretty dominant character in our campaign, because I feel like we'll be interacting with him quite much. But once again, I'm opening up our booklet here, the trusty maze rats. Let's say he is. Let's see. What would be a good characteristic for him? Defining. Let's see. What relationship, mannerisms, personality. I think that's really the best one to use here. He is going to be serene, sheeming. That's interesting. Savage. Righteous. That is definitely Commander Fisk. Righteous. I like that. I like that a lot. I like it a lot. So let's add that character to our note card. Commander Fisk. A new character. So Commander Fisk. He is the leader of Riverport's Royal Guard. That's the key word right there, the Royal Guard. He is righteous. Like a star. The stars are their characteristics. He is righteous. Forgot how to spell righteous. There we go. Righteous. Okay. He is righteous. There we go. Terrible, terrible handwriting. Okay. So he looks to the captain, and we don't necessarily know yet what their friendship is, or if any. But let's roll the meeting table to see how these two react. How does Commander react? 54. Goals, okay. 95. Stylish again. So this guy's also kind of... He turns to the captain. Oh, I have an idea. Stylish. He's talking about us. He looks to the captain and says, Captain Waverly, who are these four disgusting-looking men and what are they doing in my castle? He acting like he owns the place. The captain turns to us and he does this with his hand. These four adventurers are heroes, Commander Fisk. They saved dozens of lives. They saved me and my guard. They defeated more than a handful of those demonic creatures that spawned in our land. They wish to speak to Lord Balthazar. May they proceed. So the commander, seeing that, hopefully entrusting the words of the captain, let's roll to see, does the commander believe what the captain just revealed? Let's see. Let me write this down first. So, captain spoke highly of us, of team. I'm gonna keep that in perspective. Okay, so I'm gonna say, does he believe? Let's say likely. I don't think they're the best of friends, but he is part of the guard. Ooh, shoot. Okay, that is kind of expected, actually. The commander laughs in his place. He pushes his cape over his shoulder and says, "Don't be ridiculous." I would have. Or he says, "Don't be ridiculous, Captain. You think I believe a word you utter to me? You are a disgrace to the guard. Take these men away. I don't want to see their filth again." So the captain, he's incredibly embarrassed. So, Commander, let's just put Fisk, brushes Captain away. So, doesn't believe us, believe him. So the commander is obviously kind of a stonewall here. The captain looks to us, and I think is going to do the following. Let's roll for it. What is the captain going to do now? 99. Oh, interesting. Uncertain. That is kind of good, or that is likely. Uncertain is frightening. The captain looks to us, and he looks frightened. I think he is pissing his pants right now because when the Commander Fisk is so, again, righteous, he is so overpowering, the captain is shaking his boots. He walks up to us and says, "This is why I don't like to be around the commander, just so you guys knew." And then we're like, "So we can't speak to the Lord? We can't speak to Lord Balthazar?" The captain shakes his head. "I'm afraid not, my friends. You have done quite enough for us now. Please, you have to leave the castle, or they will kick you out." Okay, so the captain says we must leave. Team must leave the castle. And at this point, we are confused. We were hoping for a show here, like we were hoping to help and defeat and kill some bad guys, but the commander is obviously, we're not going to push our chances of being in because we're even inside at this point. But I think one of our characters are going to tap the captain on the shoulder and says, "Can we talk outside?" It's like, I'm going to say Ellis, the leader. And I do apologize. I haven't really been talking much in specific characters, but at this point in the campaign or in the setting, I just feel like representing the entire team as a whole. And if there are moments I need to pinpoint or I need to play a character, I will let you guys know. So I'm not exactly like going to tell you every word the team says amongst themselves. It's just the consensus of their actions and dialogue. But at this kind of point, it is necessary. Ellis taps the shoulder of the captain and says, "Can we speak outside? We need to discuss it. We have a plan in mind, if this is okay." So, or here, he says this. He taps on the shoulder and says, "Can we just talk outside? This is all very confusing." We'll just go with that. So, team chats with... I don't have to roll for this because I know the guard trusts us, so he will talk with us, with the captain outside. While we're chatting, the commander's like, "Captain, what did I say? Take these low peasants away from me. I can smell them from here." He points out the door, and the captain's like, "Yes, run away, Commander." And I do apologize, all the voices sound the same, but just kind of rolling with it. Just all these British voices. So we leave outside. Location, we're now outside in the castle grounds. So, whoop. Okay, Fisk is there. Captain. Oh, Captain, my captain. So, we are talking with the captain. And we tell him, "Look, Captain Waverly, we understand that there are some bureaucratic issues you might have to deal with in order to have us speak and have a presence with the Lord Balthazar. We're supporters of the Lord ourselves. We need to see him, but if we can't see him, we can't be of any help. Unless..." We're thinking for a moment, and the captain says, "Unless what?" We say, "What if we had your blessing to do what we do and find the source of this evil ourselves. And the captain's thinking for a moment. I think he likes the idea. We're going to be becoming some kind of like a group of detectives trying to find out who or what has um, conjured these evil entities in the city grounds. Now, remember, one of our characters saw the light in the hills, and I think one of our characters, Clovis, will mention that. He's like, I did see that light to the south in the hills. I believe that might be a good point to. That might be a good spot to go investigate first. It's no coincidence that it happens during the lightning strikes. And the Ellis is like, see, we have a lead already. What do you think, Captain? And I'm going to say very likely, nearly certain, does he like the idea? Ooh, 89. Okay, so that is unfortunate. He's very hesitant. Again, I think because of his recent match, his recent verbal exchange with the commander, he's very iffy on doing things below the table. He's like, look, my friends, I I respect you very dearly. I appreciate everything you've done for me, for the gods. But you heard the commander. There's even kicking you out at the castle. It's basically a sign of he doesn't want you guys to do anything you're not supposed to do as citizens. And this is unfortunate because we need to persuade the captain at this point. I think the captain's not exactly a brick wall, but he's feared. He's a coward, and he's basically been put down. He's a puppy with a tail between his legs. So here's the idea. So I'm gonna put idea. Uh, Team investigates the origin of the creatures, of the demons, I should say. The term's been changing ever so often. Captain is hesitant, so we're gonna persuade him. I think Ellis has who has the best persuasion amongst the team here. So I'll just use it as a sum. The red has plus no Clovis. Clovis was the guy who saw the light. He's like, he walks up to the captain, taps him on the chest, and says, "Look, I know you are pissing your pants right now." He's going a little above. He's going a little into the gray area here. He's like, "But we saw something in the hills, and we are willing to put aside our selfishness, our selfish attitudes to help you and the god." To be honest, hold on, I'm trying to figure out what to say here. I think Clovis is basically saying, he walks up to him, sorry for the rewrite. He walks up and taps him on the chest and says, "Listen, we understand that you are having difficulties with your superiors, but that's not our problem. We're offering our services to you in the god. Whether or not it is on the books, that's your problem. We have a source, and you don't. We saw you during the battle. You were cowering behind a couple of boxes of fruits. Do you want us to tell the commander about that?" And I think this is going to be a throw with advantage, because really he is cowering in his shoes right now. And with +2 Clovis on the willpower. So yeah, that is definitely a complete success with the +2 on that 5. So the captain... Okay, let's go to the next page here. This is session 3 continued. Whenever I do a fresh page, I have to kind of fill in the details here. So session 3 continued. And then locale, it is going to be the castle grounds. So, team, this is a star moment. Team persuades, I don't know, let's say convinces, sorry, I just, spelling sometimes just really catches me off guard. Just kind of embarrassing, but convinces Captain to let them help. Kind of give them a free pass to really go beyond the limits of a citizen's arrest, essentially. So the captain's looking around. He takes a deep breath. He's like, "Okay, all right. Okay, do what you need to do. I'll inform just the city guard about you four, your names, and what you're up to. But don't push your luck. and do not go into the castle. I will handle the commander. I'll try to get you a presence with the Lord, but I cannot guarantee anything. And so the team agrees that's a plan. So um, let's summarize that. Captain agrees. We have team has authority to investigate. The city guard, keyword is city, will know of us, of the team. The cap will try to get, but I don't think that's going to really happen. So I'm not going to write that down. It's just kind of an empty promise on his part, but he's trying to make us happy. So now we are at the castle, and we bid farewell to the captain. We shake his hand. Ella shakes his hand. Everyone else kind of, not a big fan. But he's like, they shake hands, and the captain says, "Thank you once again, heroes. Trust me, your good deeds will not go unnoticed." And he turns around and walks back he walks out of the castle entrance, and we follow. So we're walking with him, and he walks back into into the central market. So we're back in the central market. Does anything happen? Let's roll 50-50. Oh, okay. So that is something. I'll re-roll that because I really don't. Zeros really don't work. 96. Okay, nothing happens. Okay, so nothing happens. So we walk past the guard. We walk past the market. We are in this familiar alleyway, the path where we saw that merchant. Is the merchant still there? I'm wondering how he's doing. So the merchant's name was Stoker. Stoker was the one who was hurt. Most likely he's still around, or likely he was taken to a medical house. But is he still around? Let's just do 50-50. He's not, so he's gone. Is his tipped over, or I should say maybe someone helped him push it up? Is his cart still around? I'm going to say 50-50. It is. Oh yeah, that's a very strong yes. So it is still around. So it's a strong yes, which means we have to expand on that. The card is still around. 14. Character, okay. 34. Frightening. Oh. So. Okay, so this is. We did heal him, but this character frightening. It's not a PC. It's not one of us who's frightened. There is another character who's frightened. Interesting. I'm thinking that there is a citizen. Is there anybody nearby? Very likely. 90. There is nobody nearby. I'm sorry. No, that's a no. There is nobody nearby. Everyone's in the market. So character is frightened at the moment. It could be perhaps Stoker is frightened of what happened, but he's not around. So I might just ignore this moment. I don't see who can be frightened. Or we can re-roll, honestly. 37. Emotions. Okay. 26. Empty. Emotions are empty. So I think that what this is talking about. So I think all these rolls kind of lead up to emotions. Our team is, you know what time of day? I almost forgot. It's nighttime. So, time of day. It's nighttime. It's late. Like after everything that happened, it's now night. Sun sets. I forgot to keep track of that. I think I messed up before saying it was morning. That's actually night. You don't drink in the morning normally. I don't think we would, but I think the team needs to get some shut eye. They said we're talking amongst ourselves, and we concluded we need to get some rest and go back to our living areas, our own townhomes. So, do we all live in our own separate homes? I think we do, most likely. So I'm going to say we do. So the team will split up. They make a plan. So team, we can do a time skip too. Team will rest for the evening. Let's get some locations for their homes. So, Ellis lives up here. Let's say he lives right here. This will be B. B. Okay, so B is going to be Ellis townhouse. Red lives near the dock. C. So let's say C will be red. It's going to be a dock house. I'm just making up these words as I go. Now, Clovis, probably the more fancier one. He'll live near the castle. I'm going to say he lives right here. So he'll be D. Clovis. Duplex. Maybe he lives with someone else. And then Jules lives. He has Grumpy Close. I don't think he's the most wealthiest of. Well, they all kind of have similar gold count. So I'm going to say he lives up here in a farmhouse. So Jules. Farmhouse. Okay. So I'm going to circle areas that our characters live. Let's see. C is over here. And then D is Clovis. There we go. So they are all going their ways. They all walk back. We're doing a time skip. So sleep. Time skip. Now with the time skip, we have to roll to see if anything happens. I'm going to say likely. Did something happen? 79. Nothing happens, even with likely. 65 is the cutoff. Yep. Nothing happened. Okay, so they wake up. It's the morning. How is the weather? Let's just roll. I usually roll a 1 through 100 without a weather chart. It is let's say it's windy out, very windy. Is it cloudy? 50-50. Yes, it is cloudy. It's windy, as if there's a storm incoming, or it's just really windy. So weather. It's windy. Cloudy. Is it cold? 50-50. Yep, it's cold. So it's unusually cold. I'm going to say it's the summer. Or let's say it's the fall. So like maybe October-ish. It's cold. So it's cold season. Maybe there's weather. It's the north side of the island, so that maybe the weather is very rampant and diverse. So, or is it rained yesterday? It's cold rain. We never really touch detail if it's cold or warm, but I'm going to say I did mention monsoon. So perhaps we are at the end of the monsoon if this was like southwestern weather in the U.S. Okay, everybody wakes up. They all gather back, and they talked about meeting back at the market, the center market around the broken fountain. So, location or locale, the center market. Or actually, yeah, center market was the name of it. Okay, and the team assembles. And because they rested, they will get a health, some relief on the health. So let's, oops, almost lost that. Okay, so basically, 9. They probably got some new gear too. Okay, so I'm going to say that Ellis was able to pick up something. Each character, let's refresh our characters a bit. So Ellis will get himself he has his longsword. I'm going to give him a helmet to wear, which gives him another +1 on armor. So he's at a 9. He's our fighter, essentially. Okay. He's healed. Weapons, he's good. I'm going to say he picked up a potion from home. Probably took some gold out just in case. Maybe he has 25 gold now, thinking that if they do have to travel farther south. Weapon-wise, I think he's satisfied with what he has. Now let's go with Red. Red is going to heal from the rest. He's up to 9 now. Red is our roof runner. So he also picked up a vial of healing. And he has a spear. He has his 2 daggers. I think weapon-wise he's fine. You know what? He picked up a slingshot. Because he thinks he's going to have to do some long distance, some range battle. Okay, so that's all for Red. Clovis healed to 5. He has a standard armor, dagger. I think he picked 2 daggers up, so times 2. And long spear is fine, light armor is fine. He picked up more medicine. I'm going to say maybe he had only 2 left at home from like before. I'm sorry, from before he gave them away. So he has his rations. He still has a torch. And I think that's it for him. He didn't use a spell, so he still has a soothing elemental. For Jules, Jules heals back to 5. And then he has a longbow, daggers. I think he's going to swap the dagger out for something else. Let's say, I'm looking at the Maze Rat's weapons here. He's going to use... Oh, a hunting knife sounds interesting. Let's say he has a... This is essentially our ranger. Where is the crossbow? We'll do a crossbow +1 for this guy. He got a crossbow. Actually, crossbow will be normal. And he picked up a... he took his hunting knife for close range. Okay. And gold-wise, I forgot about the others. So gold-wise, maybe 15 for Clovis from home. Jules, probably, let's say 12. He didn't have much left. And for Red probably has 20. I'm giving gold to my team here. Okay, there we go. They're healed and they're somewhat stocked up. And now they have to get some breakfast. Or did they eat at home? Let's see. Did they eat at home? Very likely. They didn't. Okay, they were so anxious. Yep, that's a no. They were very anxious, and they just kind of all got up to the market. Probably, I think that makes sense to why they're on the market in the first place. They're looking to get some food. So, let's include this in the session. So, they are. Are there any markets even open after what happened? Are there any vendors, fruit stalls, or bread, or meat, anything? Let's say likely. I think some people recovered. 15. Oh yeah, that's a very much likely. That's a standard yes. That's unfortunately just a standard yes. I was thinking if it was a stream yes, it'd be like people will be shaking their they'll be walking up. Do you want to try my do you want to try some of my freshly cut bread, loaf, etc. So our team will go around, meeting with merchants, getting a quick bite, just to eat. So eat some rations in the market. Okay, they just went around, probably had to spend some coins. So let's deduct that from their respectively. I'm going to say 5 spent for Ellis. Maybe he bought some rations. He bought another. He has 3, so I think he's fine there. He just 8. Probably 2 gold spent by Red. He has rations times 3. Let's see. I love they're buying rations. They're saving it for the trip. Clovis spent 5 gold, and then 4 gold spent by Jules, so he's down to 8. Okay, so, and he bought a ration. I noticed he doesn't have any, so he bought 1 ration. Okay, there you go. So, we are rejuvenated. recovered, stocked, full belly, and now we make our way south. So, Clovis tries to recall where he saw that light. He said, "Okay, so as I remember, I believe I saw the hill just south of Maiden's Claw. Perhaps we should go back there, just to get some figure out, retrace our steps." So they make their way back to Maiden's Claw, and when they get there, does anything happen? 50-50. I'm gonna say likely, actually. That's a yes. So what happens when they get to Maiden's Claw? Let's roll for context. Okay, the first one is 16. Communicate. Okay, I have an idea already. 98. Valuable. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. I have an idea. This is actually good. So, uh, location. We are outside Maiden's Claw. It's in the morning. And basically, I think the woman from yesterday is back and she's standing outside the tavern pacing. So the wife, I'll put a star here because we need a character. Let's give her a name because she's now, this is an NPC. Let me first write down the wife of drunken patron from yesterday. She's pacing. She looks nervous. She's talking to herself. She's worried. We'll figure out why in here in a second. So, character creation. Sorry, looking for names. Okay, so her name, female name, will be Elsbeth Jilly. Esme. Daphne. Okay, so Daphne, like from let's do Daphne. I like that one. Okay, so Daphne. She's let's say her trait. She's just a citizen. Just let's say her trait is she's always worried. Okay, she's always worried. With a husband like that, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't be? So, with a spouse like that, I should say. So, let's say new character Daphne, like from what's the thing I'm familiar from Scooby-Doo. Let's see. She's a citizen of Riverport. Sorry, I'm out of frame. I just realized that. Riverport. I'm gonna put little parentheses here. Drunk husband. And she is. Let's see. The wife. Her star quality is worried. Okay, she's always worried. So we added her to our list here. Star. So she's pacing herself, and we walk up to her and says, "Oh, it's you." Ellis says, "Oh, it's you again. What's the matter?" Because she's pacing. She looks nervous. She's tearing, crying. She looks up at us, and she explains the following. Let's see what happens. 22, conflict. That works. 77, quiet. She says that quiet conflict. Interesting. She says that her husband this morning just left after she yelled at him at a bit. He just left and said he just left. He walked out, and she thought that he was going to be here at the tavern. But is the tavern even open? Let's say 50-50. It is not. The tavern is actually closed. Perhaps it's opening pretty soon. So, the husband left her house missing. The tavern is closed. She's worried about him. She thought that he would be here, and now she's pacing. So we have this potential side quest, which we're on a mission to figure out what happened, where these monsters came from, these creatures. But she is a previous character, and she is causing some worry for our team because we have some obligation here. We helped her earlier, and so she is an acquaintance of ours. But let's give her name a husband. Let's give her husband a name. Just a name though. We know he's a drunk, so maybe he's stubborn. That's his trait. He's stubborn. So his name will be Basil. Okay, so her this will be a new NPC. Husband of Daphne is Basil. He is a citizen of the city. Blah blah blah. He's always stubborn, drunk, a lot. Okay, and let's add that to our card. So we have I'm putting this little arrow here because he's related, or he's married to her. Not related, married. Basil, husband of Daphne. Stubborn. I'm gonna star this one here. Stubborn / drunk. Question mark. So not always drunk was the question mark. Okay, so how do we proceed here? We tell her, um, are there any other places where he goes? Does he wander around the city at all? And she shakes her head. She's like, no, no. He's always here at the tavern 24/7. He doesn't work, doesn't do anything. Just drinks, sits on his bottom. So this guy's literally, who's the guy from Cheers? Norm. This is basically Norm, just without the physical effort. He's just always there, sits in the corner of the bar, drinks. This is basically the norm of Riverport, and I think that's hilarious. So, um, I think moments later, does anything happen? 50-50. Yep. So the tavern door, you can hear unlock, several locks, opens up. So the tavern door unlocks, opens, and there standing is going to be Orchid. So Orchid is there. She's in disbelief. She's just, are you, older lady, religious. She's like, by the gods, are you joking right now? Have you been standing out here the entire night? And is she talking to us, or is she talking to the lady, or to Daphne? Is she talking to Daphne? I'm going to say very likely. 92. Oh, I think she's talking to everybody in general. That's a no. Actually, that's a very sudden no. Very likely. No, that's just a general no. She's just talking to all of us. We put our hands. We basically do this. We tell her, no, we're just passing. I swear, we're not here to cause any more trouble, my dear. And she's like, okay. She's like, okay. And then she looks to Daphne, and she's like, what's wrong, Daphne? Assuming they know each other. And Daphne asks, let's see here. Daphne chats with Orchid. She's like, excuse me, Orchid, I'm sorry to bother you. I've been waiting out here for an hour. I can't find my husband. What's his name? Forgot his name. Basil. I can't find Basil. He's not at home. This is the only place he ever comes. Is he inside? And is he inside? Let's roll 50-50, because I don't think he would be. He is inside. He's inside right now. That's hilarious. I love that. 50. That's a standard yes. I was hoping for a trim yes. And Basil is, this is just a comedic scene now at this point, is inside. Orchid explains, she kind of moves out of the way, turns and um, looks to Basil. He's drinking. Basil's obviously drinking. Or is he drinking? Let's see. Let's see, very likely. Is he drinking? Ooh, interesting. Hold on a second. Let's check that one. Is he drinking? 76? Very likely. He's not. No. Okay, so Basil is aside. He looks distressed. He is sitting at the bar, but not drinking. He's not drinking. That's very unusual. So, um, Orchard explains he came here very, very early this morning. Woke me up. I'm assuming Orchard lives in the back of the tavern. It was slamming on the door. I ran up. I thought something happened, and it was him. He was in tears. He says that he feels like he feels so upset about what happened yesterday. I let him in, but that's all. He hasn't had a drink at all. And then Daphne starts sobbing. She walks in very slowly, walks up to so let's here. So uh, Daphne walks in, enters the tavern, and I'm going to assume that Basil notices. He's not drunk, so his awareness is normal. He looks up. He gets up from the chair, pushes the chair aside, and he says, I think he is very upset after yesterday. Like maybe as a drunk, he's a completely different person, but when he's not drunk, he is just Norm. He's just very bored, lazy, and just I don't know. That's really it. Bored, lazy, maybe a good person. So but maybe he's just turned over to leave. So he stands up, pushes the stool aside. He says, "Daphne, I'm so sorry about last night." And then he sees us in the back. We're just kind of observing. We're not exactly taking part. We're observing. And he walks up to Daphne. He looks at us. He says, "You fall again. Look, I don't want any more trouble. She's been through enough having dealing with me." And we're like, "No, no, no, we're just passing through. No, 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 no worries. We're just passing through. We're not here to cause trouble with you. We, we're done. Don't worry about us." So he grabs Daphne's hands and says, "Daphne, will you ever forgive me, my love?" And will she forgive him? I would say likely. Oh yeah, that's a very strong yes. So, yep, that's a very strong yes either way. So she starts crying and she goes, "Oh, Basil." They kiss and make up. So Daphne forgives. This is a huge plot point apparently. Forgives Basil. They they make up. They're hugging, uh, basically, and I think Orchard at this point just walks back to the bar as if it's this just a normal occurrence. Maybe they always have fights and they always make up, kiss and make up. So we're like, okay, that was interesting. So we just continue on. I think, do they acknowledge us at this point? 50-50. They don't. No, they hug, and I think, do they go back home? 50-50. They don't. No, he takes her back to the bar. They sit down, and they just start chatting. That's really it. But they chat at the bar. I think that's it, and it's a happy ending. That's actually really nice. I like that. So we're outside the tavern, and we're about to make our way, or we're about to start trying to retrace our steps. So we leave, or the team leaves, trying to retrace Clovis' steps, where he saw, it's a star moment right here, where he saw the light in the hills. The problem is, it's morning, so there's sunlight reflecting off the grassy hills south of Riverport, sorry. Riverdale actually sounds like a better name, but this has a port, so it makes sense, I guess. Um, so I think this is the end of the session. They're retracing their steps. Now let's figure out if something actually happens to retracing their steps. I'm gonna say unlikely at this moment. Oh my gosh, something does actually happen. Okay, that's a 2. Unlikely, the lowest is an 8 for assault, a regular yes. Okay, so what happens? 12, change, okay. Change, ooh, 94. Strange. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay, so session, here, let's conclude session 3. Change, strange. All right, so session 3, conclusion. Clovis notices something strange. The same light. Is it the same light? Does he see the same light? I'm going to say light, likely. He doesn't. It's not the light. It's something else. I'm trying to, what would it be? He notices something on the ground. Okay, so let's see if he notices it. We rolled basically for before for the environment, but does he notice? +2 on this roll. 6, 7, 8. He has a +2. Yep. That is a partial success. He notices that on the ground where the portal was, now that there's no more rain, it's just windy, cloudy, etc., cold. Notices on the ground there is a spawn mark. It's this big emblem engraved into the ground. So think of Thor with the Mjolnir when he takes the Bifrost in the MCU. There's that big giant alien mark on the ground. That's what he sees. A ritual marking where the portal spawned. The portal appeared. And because we rolled an 8, he doesn't know the context of the portal because he is our smartest player character. But he doesn't understand the ritual mark. He knows it's a ritual related. So he deduces that it is a ritual mark, spawn mark, but he doesn't know what it means. He knows it's ritual related. So, okay, that's great. So change, yeah, that's perfect. So session 4 for tomorrow, or for whenever I do the next episode, session. Basically, we learned about the ritual markings. Maybe we need to go to the harbor or the market and see if the same markings are there. Go to market, harbor, to look for markings, for the same markings. Okay, and then the other one, the star for this. There we go. The other one is the light in the hill, on the hill. That's our end goal for that, most likely for that session. So we kind of have this redirection of the story. Or, I'm sorry, not the story. This quest or our task, and because of this marking we found on the ground, we're thinking this same thing is here. Most likely, it's going to be in the other 2 spots, in the center market and the harbor. So that is a very interesting detail, and I love it. That was perfect. I'm glad I rolled for that. So that is it for this session, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This was more world building than anything. No encounters, which is fine. That's kind of how I wanted this one to go. But I'm glad we closed off that little side quest or story with the situation with Basil and Daphne and her husband Basil. So they kissed and made up, and probably, again, it probably happens 1,000 times in the relationship. But anyways, thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video.